Flintimer is over. Sit up straight. Press your fingertips down, lengthen up through your sideways side chest. Move your arm bones back to bring your shoulder blades into your back. Keep the lift of your chest. Release your hands to your thighs and close your eyes. Descend your thighs. Distribute your weight evenly on your two sitting bones. Press your shoulder blades into your back ribs to lift your chest. Soften your neck and throat. Release your jaw. Rest your tongue into the base of your mouth. Take slow, even breaths. And then gently open your eyes. Come over to child's pose. Big toes together, knees apart. Extend your arms forward. Good morning, Sopo. I think that's Sopo. Yes, okay. Press your hands down and forward. Push your hips back. Turn your upper arms out. As you turn your upper arms out, press with the entire palm of your hand. All the way through your fingertips. Then come on to your hands and knees. Tuck your toes underneath. Come up with the downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Again, press with the entire palm of your hand. And from pressing through the palm of your hand, extend through the fingertips. At the same time, press evenly to the base of the big toe and the base of the little toe. Inner heel and outer heel if your heels are on the floor. Remember to turn your upper arms out as you press your palms down. Soften your neck, your throat, your jaw. Work your arms and your legs. Keep your head relaxed. Take slow, even breaths here. Breathing through your nose. And walk your hands back towards your feet. Fold forward. Now, make sure you're pressing evenly through the front and back of the foot so that there's not more weight towards the toes or more weight towards the heels. Heels is more likely. So if you think that you're perfect, then stay there. And not, see if you're moving back and forth, if you can feel the weight distribution and how that changes the stretching of your legs. And find the midpoint. It's actually slightly more towards the heel when you're walking and stuff like that, but for now, just rest the torso down, keeping the weight even on the feet. All right, place your hands on your hip, elbows to the ceiling. Inhale, come up. All right, sit in Virasana. All right, so I'm going to assume that I am still teaching this class and that I didn't get knocked off for any reason. Okay, so sit with your knees together, feet apart, sit between your heels. I cannot see anyone. If you guys can see me.
We can still see you.
Okay, well, I'll assume it'll come back up. Otherwise, I'm just gonna look at my thing that says live yoga stream. Thank you for, I know I answered that. So if you have a strap nearby, go ahead and grab that or an extra blanket. And then pull the strap apart, lift it up, keep pulling on the strap as you slowly take your arms back. And come back up. And one more time, adjusting the length of the strap for the flexibility in your shoulders. Keep your arms moving at the same rate. One more time. I know I said that last time. Now lift up, exhale, lower down, and back up, and forward. Now take your hands around behind, interlock your fingers, roll your shoulders back, lift your arms up. So lift from your triceps, trying to lift your arms more and more. Oh, there it is. So weird. Some of you have come off of Virasana, maybe because you saw me do that. All right, and then bring your hands down, change the interlock of your fingers, roll your shoulders back, lift your arms up. And bring your arms back down. You can rotate your shoulders a few times. And then, okay, so I need this. You may not, but tuck your toes underneath and sit back on your heels. Now, if you need a little support, you can get on a sticky mat. You can put a blanket under your knees or a couple blankets. You know, look like this. And this makes it have less weight on the toes. Or if it's still painful, you can do it like this. So if it's not painful enough for you, sit back on your heels. Take your arms behind with the palms facing down. Turn the fingers to face the body, then up towards the head. And wiggle your arms up into Paschimottanasana Namaskar. If that won't work at all for you, you can grab the opposite elbow, like this. And then that still may not work, so you can grab the opposite wrist. But do one of those. And if your hands are together on your back, press your palms together like you're pressing your palms into each other in downward facing dog. Roll your shoulders back and lift your chest. Yeah, it does get too much after a while. And then release your hands. Place your hands on the floor, tuck your toes underneath, and come up into downward facing dog. And just notice the difference in your feet in the two downward facing dogs. Move forward to plank. Lift your abdomen well. So plank like the up of a push-up. There you go. Hips up, lift your hips the other way. There we go. And back to downward facing dog. Take a breath. All right. So just watch for a second. So in downward facing dog, there's a lot more of this. So before coming into plank, reverse that. So lift your back like you were doing child's pose, like this, and then keep that as you come into plank. All right? So from downward facing dog, lift your abdomen in, round your back, and then keep your back rounded as you come into plank. Yes, so that will help you avoid this, all right? Then, yes, there's more. Bend your elbows. And then up into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Back your toes. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Bend your knees. Rest back into child's pose. Okay, so take whatever you have nearby. If you have a block, then use a block. And it can be a short block or a medium block, or it can be a rolled blanket. Would also work. A couple pillows would also work. And you're going to place that underneath your shoulder blades towards the bottom portion of your shoulder blades. hips on the floor, head at least going towards the floor, if not on the floor, or on some support. And then interlock the elbows, bring the elbows overhead. Then at the very end, straighten your legs. So something in that direction. So if your head doesn't reach the floor, get something else, put under your head so you can relax. Yeah. And then once you have your setup so that you're going over, you can straighten your legs at that point. So Kathy, I'm going to unmute you for a moment. Why is it not unmuting? Anyway, for some reason it's not unmuting, it doesn't matter. I was wondering why your arms weren't overhead. If it bothers your shoulders or if it hurts, I understand. But yes, correct. And you have a long block. I don't know if that's as comfortable on your back as if you turn it 90 degrees so that the block isn't all the way along your spine. I'm sure you can do it either way. Looks good, Bob. All right, then after you've been there for a while, if you want to turn the block up to a higher height, you can do that. But you probably have to have something else. If you have something under your head, you definitely will have to have something else under your head. You could let your head hang, and that's sometimes done. But it's not nearly as comfortable. Press your feet into the floor, press your legs into the floor. So that the more you use your legs, the easier it is on your back. Then place your hands on the floor, lift yourself. All right, so we're going to go into the semi-Surya Namaskar again. We're going from downward dog to upward dog. So if you have, if those blocks helped you from the other day, where you have a blanket or a sticky mat, and the blocks would be at an angle like this. So they're not going to move. And then you can, a little slippery, come from downward facing dog, upward facing dog. It just takes some of the pressure off your wrist, so you can do that. The sticky mat would probably work better. I think I have one. So set up for that if you're going to use this kind of setup. And so we're going to stay in upward dog for a few moments. So if you need it for upward dog, go ahead and have it, even though it's not as comfortable on the other. All right, and then come into downward facing dog. Come into a longer dog, so walk your feet back. And then pull your arm in, come forward to plank. Then try to roll over your toes, bring your chest through. Little cheat on the rolling there for me. Press your feet into the floor, lift your chest, roll your shoulders back. Urdhva Mukha. And then tuck your toes. Adho Mukha. Take a breath.
your feet back. It's a little easier to go over your toes if your feet are further back. Come forward to plank, and then just keep going to upward facing dog. Roll your shoulders back. Press your toes into the floor. Lift your thighs, yes. Then roll over the toes, back to downward facing dog. Nice long downward facing dog. Last one, come forward. Roll over your toes. Upward facing dog. Gonna have to adjust. Roll your shoulders back, lift your chest. Bring that block into your back like it was before. And then tuck your toes. Downward facing dog. And child's pose. Come off of standing. Oh yes, we have to do a balance pose. I almost forgot. Let's see. Well, let's do Vrikshasana. Standing pose every day. Or standing pose. It is a standing pose. Balance pose every day. So stand in Tadasana. Lift your chest. Roll your shoulders back. Turn your right leg out. Tuck your outer left hip in. Lift your right leg up. Find your balance here. Take your arms out to the side. Turn your palms up. And then slowly bring your arms closer and closer together. Not letting them bend at all. So if they won't reach, they won't reach. But if they reach, extend them up higher and higher and higher. And see if you can press your palms together over your head. And then slowly lower your arms down and release your right leg. Return to the asana. Turn your left leg out. Lift your left leg up. Tuck your outer right hip in. And then first, find your balance. Take your arms out to the side, turn your palms up. Bring your arms closer and closer and closer together. Press your palms together. As you press your palms towards each other, lift up through your fingertips. Then slowly release your arms, turn your palms down, release your leg back into Tadasana. Okay, so it'll help to have a wall, so we're going to do wall split. I believe we did that last time, where one leg is up like this. So if you don't have a wall nearby, you can do it like this, but you're not going to get as much of a stretch in the up leg, and that's what we're focusing on. But we'll do something else to get a stretch in that leg. So stand a couple feet away from the wall. If you need blocks, put blocks under your hands for your, this is for your down leg.
It will not help your up leg. Moving forward helps your up leg. So lift your left leg up, roll your left hip down, and extend through the heel of your left foot. Keep both of your legs straight by lifting both quadriceps, or all 8, depending on how you like to think about it. And then if it's comfortable for you, you walk yourself back the wall. But as you walk towards the wall and you get further into the pose, the tendency when you start to reach your limit is for the top hip to turn out. So turn the left hip towards the floor and extend through the left heel even more. Then lower your left leg down, walk back forward, and hang forward. See if your legs feel different from each other. We'll go to the other side. So lift your right leg up. Keep both legs straight, but especially the top leg. Roll your right hip down towards the floor. And then if that's not enough for you, you can walk yourself closer to the wall. But as you walk closer to the wall, you have to pay more attention as you get more and more into the stretch of keeping your quadriceps lifted and your right hip, in this case, turning towards the floor. And lower the right leg down. Walk away from the wall, come back up to standing. All right. Now put something to go under your hips. So it can be 2 blankets, it can be a couple pillows. We'll start with some blankets and then we can always lift it higher. So if you want to just watch for a second, we did this last week, I believe. I don't have the best memory for what we did last week, but so the hips are supported, the legs are up, and then we're going to take one leg down like this, all right? So assume Urdhva Prasarita Padasana position. So the hips are on the blankets or a block or the pillows or whatever. Extend your arms overhead. Keep both legs straight. And if you're facing your camera, you should be able to look to the side and make sure your legs are actually at 90 degrees. Then, keeping your right leg where it is, lower your left leg slowly down towards the floor. Keep it straight the whole way down. And keep it straight once you get down. And it may not go all the way down, and that's all right. Some of that has to do with the flexibility of the top leg, and some of it has to do with the flexibility of the bottom leg. All right, lift your left leg back up. And then lower your right leg down. Do it slowly so that you'll be able to tell when once your leg bends, if it bends at all. And lift the right leg back up. Lower your left leg down. leg straight, extend. Then, now this time, as you lift the left leg up, you're gonna lower the right leg down. And then switch. 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 And right leg up. Okay, so if your foot hit the floor, then you just build your pile. So you could switch it to a couple blocks. If you have a plethora of blankets, you could switch it to a goodly amount of blankets. So now it's looking closer to, for me, to Setu Bandha Dharmagasana. Or Viparikrani would also be kind of that position. So once you've decided on the appropriate number of blankets, take your arms overhead. And then especially if you raise the platform, go very slowly with your left leg. Because there might be a time when it starts to bend. Then lift your left leg up. And very slowly lower your right leg down. You shouldn't feel a pull in your lower back unless this should all be a stretch in the front of the hip. It does pull on the lower back, the muscle does, that is stretching. But if it feels crampy or tight, the first thing to try is moving the support, or moving yourself on the support. Lift that leg up, first leg again. And if that still doesn't work, the next thing to try would be lowering this, the height under your hips. Let that leg up. Second leg. And then lift that leg up. Come off the support. Move that to the side. Stand up. Or not, you can lie down. All right. Virabhadrasana 1. Virabhadrasana 1. Virabhadrasana 1. I'll keep saying it until it either sounds worse or sounds better. Take your arms and legs wide apart. Turn your palms up. Lift your arms higher and higher over your head. So just like Vrikshasana, we're going towards palms together. Turn to your right. Press down through your left heel and the front of your right foot. Keep the back leg straight. So just like the pose we were just in, I want the focus to be your left leg. But you still have to bend your right leg.
And if keeping your arms like this bothers you in any way, you can keep your arms on your hips because the arms give the shoulder opening, but we're working on opening the front of the back side. Straighten your right leg. Keep your arms where they are. Turn to the other side. Press through your right heel. Left inner foot. Keep the back leg straight as you bend your left leg. You are all doing better with your back leg than I am. And then straighten your front leg, turn your toes to the front. Release your arms down. Hands on your hips, take your elbows back for Urdhva Padottanasana. Keep your elbows moving towards the wall behind you. Fold forward, now they're moving towards the ceiling. Elbows up. And keep them that close together as you lower your head toward the floor. And if your head isn't on the floor, release your hands down and see if that brings your head a little closer to the floor. If it doesn't, go ahead and have some support under your head if it's nearby. If it's not, don't worry about it. The nice thing about the support is it gives you an idea of the distance between your head and the floor, so that one day when the backs of your legs open up, you'll know what the distance was. You know, you'd be like, oh, when I started yoga, my head was 3 feet away from the floor. All right, walk your hands forward, lift your chest, place your hands on your hips, inhale, come back up. Step your feet together. All right, get the upside down. So, we're gonna start with Shirshasana and go into Pinchamayurasana. Actually, we have very little time. So, let's skip Shirshasana today. I have a bit of a headache anyway. So, if you don't do handstand, then you can do Shirshasana instead. We will do shoulder stand. Otherwise, you can either do L pose or full arm balance, or you can go straight into Pinchamayurasana if that works better for your wrist. And if none of those work, you can place your hands on a support like a wall and lift one leg up. All right? I say that like you're going to respond. Maybe you are responding and I just can't hear you. And once you kick up with one leg and it goes well, kick up with the other leg. Yeah. And then I guess we got some handstanders, some headstanders. Bob, your left elbow is out pretty far. It needs to come in. Yeah. And now press more, a little bit more with your left hand, your left arm. I'm going to look closer. I don't know why closing one eye is going to help me look better, but I need to get a close up of that. All right, straighten your elbows, Sopo. All right. Marsha, ribs. It's always the ribs.
Probably for me too. All right, if you've had your attempt at handstand, then have an attempt at Pinchamayurasana. If you're not doing Pinchamayurasana, you can still do the block between the hands. Like this, come up and walk in. You're either going to do this or there's a big hole there. That could be so that could be a moment to remember on Zoom. So you're going to come in, and if that's within your realm of possibility, if not, then you're just gonna but you're going to not kick up. Just do the same pose. So attempt that. Attempt it with both legs, not at the same time, but one after the other. All right, bring that left elbow a little further in, Bob, just a smidge. Yeah, now press down. Whoa! That was what was holding you up, I guess. All right, let's look at Kathy. Kathy's got a bolster in the way. That's good. All right, look towards the wall if you're in Pinchamayurasana. All right, I guess we're done. I got one more. And then we're going to do something with the block on the wall that I think feels good. We haven't done it in a while because I haven't thought of it really. But I think you all have done it and will remember it and will love it as much as I do. It does require a wall. So I'm going to show up close with the camera to see who remembers it. So it's the one where we hold the block like this. Now I'm not going to have a wall, so you're right here. So I hold the block like this, and I put it between my shoulder blades here, and then I come up like this. Now if you have a wall, you can come up further without your arms going forward. So for me, I'd have to do this piece of wall right here. So I place my elbows right up next to the wall, and then come in and walk in. Now I can have bent knees, that's okay, because we're not working on the hamstrings today. But you really want to dig that block into your back. I think this feels amazing, but you're welcome to disagree with how this feels. If there's too much on your shoulders, then you can just do, you can do the shoulder stretch with the block on a support. I'll show that quick. So that's with the block between the elbows, like this. So it's similar, it's not quite the same. All right, people are coming. So once you've done it with the block the long way, turn the block so it looks like this, which is the middle width is at the wall, like that. Oddly, I can't see if this is too close. Oh, no, it's not. Okay. So try that way. Your elbows close to the wall. Keep the block in place, keep your head down. And walk in. I prefer the other way a little more, but they both feel pretty good. Come down and rest. All right. Then come to kneeling. You can have a blanket under your knees. So we're going straight for Ustrasana after that. We're limited on time. Come up to kneeling. Press your shins into the floor. Move your the upper portion of your thighs forward. Lift your chest. Roll your shoulders back. Place your hands on your hips like you did in Prasada with your elbows back. So as you take your elbows back, that helps you lift your chest and bring that same feeling of something coming into your back that we did a couple different times with the block today. Then keep your chest well lifted, lean back, lift up to the ceiling, but come back. And then when you feel a little out of sorts, I guess, come back up. Now, some of you know what's coming, so you have blocks under or next to your feet, but you could also put a couple blankets down or a bolster down on your ankles. We're going for Ustrasana, so press your shins down, lift your chest, move your thighs forward, but lift your abdomen up. Then, pressing down on your hips, lift your chest towards the ceiling, reach back, and grab your heels, or whatever support is resting next to your heels or on your heels, and then take your head back. Now imagine that block is still between your shoulder blades, lifting your chest up. Press through your feet, inhale, come back up, and sit back down on your heels. All right, so the next one, Soko, I want you to try bringing your knees a little closer together. Not a lot, but just a little bit. Okay, let's do it again. Kneel up, press your shins down, lift your chest. Push your hips down to get more length in the sides of your torso. Lift your chest towards the ceiling, reach back, grab your feet. Press down with whatever your hands are on to lift your chest more. And press through your shins. Inhale, come back up. And sit back down on your heels. All right. Well, let's do, so normally we do a belly down back bend, and then we do Ustrasana. But let's try it the other way. We're going to do Dhanurasana. So lie down on your belly. We skipped Shalabhasana today, so that's your homework for the week, to do Shalabhasana. Your back will thank you for it. Reach back and grab your feet. If you can't grab your feet, place a strap around. Ideally one for each foot, but if you only have one strap, place it around the feet. Walk your knees towards each other. They will come apart as you lift up. All right, imagine the block in your shoulder blades, lift your chest. Then lift your legs, kick into your arms, come up. Come down. Or not. Walk your knees in closer. Hold on to your ankles or your feet. Roll your shoulders back. With your next exhalation, lift your chest, lift your legs. Come up into Dhanurasana. And then back down. All right, so you remember the stack of stuff we had when we were extending our legs at the beginning of class. So you could use 2 blocks here, you could use 1 block here, you could use stack O stuff. So we're going back to that hip support, and you can just watch for a second. I think Karen mentioned last week that she has an easier time with something to press her hands into, like a wall. I will show that in just a moment, because I have to turn. So I'm going to place my hands next to my head, with my fingers pointing towards my feet. If that's too much for your wrist, you can point them out towards the long side of your mat. And then I'm going to practice lifting my chest up and pressing with my feet, lifting my hips up. So hips up, head up, hips up. So that the legs are responsible for the waist down, the arms are responsible for the waist up. So you can try that a few times. And then you just tell them, well, you each did your work independently, so let's all do it together. You press your hands down, you press your feet down, and you come up. All right? And then I'll just show, while you get set up, I will show the wall version. This wall is a good wall to use because it has a very clear, at least for video, I think, a clear view of the baseboard. So the way you can use a wall is you put your hands up on the wall like this with a baseboard, and then I'll show without a baseboard. And then I press down and lift up. The other way is with a couple blocks. And this works without a baseboard as well. This is not my easiest one. Make sure the blocks aren't going to move. And press down and lift up. All right. So pick one of those. And first, just try lifting one end and then the other end and see how that goes. All right.
Mary, what was the first thing to do by the wall?
Just put your hands on the wall.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to use the wall. If you don't want to use the wall, you don't have to use the wall.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. So, bend your knees in whatever position you're in, even lying over a block. Your knees are bent. Maybe. Yeah, the knees are bent. Yeah, I'm actually watching. Place your hands in position. And then if you're tired, you're tired. It's okay. And then lift your hips. Try lifting your hips. Okay, Marcia, that makes it really hard, but okay.
Mary, are not.
What's that? You're hot?
No. If you do, or not.
Oh, you're waiting for the or not. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. So after you've lifted your hips a couple times, then
Yeah.
chest a couple times, and then lift them together a couple times. You can sometimes say to yourself, 1, 2, 3, lift. Yeah. And then push all the way up. Yes. So I actually, I found one thing harder that some of you are doing. And I'll show what I mean. And this just could be the way I'm built, or that I'm used to, this was never a particularly difficult pose for me. But there's this way of doing where you stop on your head. So you lift up and you stop on your head and then you push up. In some ways, I find that harder than just going up. So if that's your habit, then try it the other way and try not to overthink it. Because sometimes your body will know what to do without being told. So you just place your hands and press up. Yeah. Or not. Try was waiting for the or not, so there it is. Or you can just sit there and just enjoy resting your hips on the bolster. I guess I'm not doing the teaching. So place your hands and then just throw yourself into the air. There we go. Yes. And come back down. All right. So since you have this pile, make the pile a little smaller. And then the only thing I want you to do is scoot a little bit toward your head side until you feel your abdomen pull in. So you just scoot until you feel a little bit of length coming to your lower back. Then roll off the blankets. Take one blanket and give yourself a little belly roll. So you're going to press the belly, you have to lift the belly over the blanket and come into child's pose. Now you may not be able to come down all the way, but I just want you to feel if you can feel any space coming into the lower back in this position. All right, then come back up and set up for Sarvangasana, or whatever you do when they say Sarvangasana. So you can do, I'm just going to show a version of Setu Bandha with kind of a shoulder stand support. So this would be acceptable, or this would be acceptable. All right. You can also do it with just the block. You don't have to have the pile of blankets. Blankets make it more comfortable. You can do cross bolster Setu Bandha. I only have one bolster, so it's in the other room anyway. I can't show that. So set up for Sarvangasana. When you're ready, go up. You could even do chair Sarvangasana. Knowing that after Sarvangasana, we're going to Shavasana. So we'll just have a little short rest and then Shavasana. So your chest should be well open from all this back bending work. To be able to roll your shoulders under well. And you really can get on the tops of your shoulders. Press your upper arms into the floor. If you're in shoulder stand, remember in camel pose in Ustrasana, how we activated the area just underneath the buttocks. So the area that tops the thighs, that has to engage to move the heels back. At the same time, that engages to move the hips forward. So heels back, hips forward. Extend the inner legs towards the ceiling. Extend the outer legs towards the ceiling. If you're warm, have the legs a little apart, about hip width. If you're cold, bring the legs together. If you're at a comfortable temperature, then you have to decide what's best for your legs. Together or apart. Notice if you move the hips, so this, I think of a lot of poses as like a pendulum and trying to find the center, using the body like a pendulum. So this one's a little harder to move the hips forward and back. You want to feel the weight on your shoulders and not your head and not your elbows. So eventually in Sarvagasana, you take your arms off your back. And then they do different things. But if you had too much weight on your hands, then you wouldn't be able to take your arms off your back without falling over. And also, you wouldn't be able to look at your watch and, try to figure out how long we've been in this pose. So like many poses, use your legs to make the pose a little lighter than the rest of the body. If you think of, if you've ever tried to pick up a child that does not want to be picked up, they get all loose and floppy. It makes them much harder to pick up. It's heavier. So the same works in yoga poses. If you're floppy, if you're letting your body sink into your shoulders, it's harder to stay up because it feels like more weight. But if you keep your legs engaged and lifting, then you can stay longer, it's easier. Just like a kid that wants to be picked up. And slowly roll out of the pose. And then scoot yourself toward your head side until your shoulder, in whatever pose you were in, until your shoulders rest on the floor. Bring your knees in toward your chest, roll to your side, and come up. So I promised that I was going to look up prone Shavasana, and it turns out the reason I couldn't remember how to set it up is there are a gazillion different setups for it. So if you want to try prone Shavasana, the one that is very similar with all of them, long guys are here, is having a roll under your ankles. And then you're going to have a support underneath each shoulder like this. And this would be better as a blanket, but I just want you to be able to see this. So I'm going to show what the blankets. These blocks are wood. I brought my wood blocks today. So a folded blanket for each shoulder. The reason you have this for your shoulders is it just keeps you from smashing your face into the floor. If you do not like prone Shavasana, just turn over. I would take the shoulder blankets out. For those that weren't here, I was bringing up the fact that a lot of the COVID patients, they're turning onto their bellies to help them breathe more easily. So see if this helps you breathe more easily. Focus on moving your breath into your back body. We do a lot of opening the chest in yoga, and that's, the front body. That's very useful because we're kind of slouchy creatures. But the lungs aren't just in the front of the body. So we have to focus on bringing the breath to the back of the body as well. Deepen your breath. Bend your knees. You're already on your back, sorry. Going by habit. Roll to one side and lift yourself up. You can't roll to the side if everything's done. Take your arms wide, lift your chest. Bring your palms together in front of your heart. Think of something you're grateful for. Namaste.